What is going on YouTube? Welcome to the Meta Nerd channel. This will be my very first video for Cardfight Overdress. Today, I will be going through my thoughts and review for my favorite nation, the Dark States. A bit of a disclaimer. This review will only be based on the cards that are reviewed so far within the nation. I will of course do a separate video once everything has been revealed. So Dark States, as we know right now, consists of 4 clans previously from the G series era, or maybe even through the OG era. There are a total of 4 clans that help contribute to the development of the Dark States. The first being Dark Irregular, the second being Pale Moon, and the third being my favorite, Spike Brothers, and of course Gear Chronicle. These are the 4 clans that are originally clans, as we call it, back in the days. Right now, since we're all going to nation base, all 4 of these Dark Zone clans eventually form and become what we know as Dark States. Dark States will be one of the 5 great nations in Cardfight Vanguard Overdress, alongside Dragon Empire, Cater Sanctuary, Brands Gate, and Stoichia, and also Lyrical Monastro, if you want to count that yet, because we do not know anything about Lyrical Monastro. So in the anime, of course, we know that this is the anime character that will be using Dark States. His name is Danji Momoyama. He is the team leader of Team Blackout, probably a team that the main character is gonna encounter in the anime. And according to the description provided by Bushiroad, he has a record of 20 consecutive wins. I'm not sure that 20 consecutive wins here means that he fought all 20 matches in a row, meaning that he fought 20 matches back to back. I'm not sure on that one, but he did say that he have a record of 20 consecutive wins. So this guy is really strong, based on the description provided by Bushiroad. So for this character, my first impression on this character is that he is a Kai-ish character, meaning that he is very strong, and he maybe he does not really share the whole solitary fighter of Kai, because he seems like a really nice guy to be honest. If you look at him, because Kai rarely smile unless of course he knows that he's gonna double crit you. That's really bad. But this guy seems like a genuine, really nice guy. And then of course he's obsessed with pink. Every single thing that we get from him is actually pink. His hair is pink, his sleeve is pink, and the boss unit that he will be using, his armor is literally pink as well. But then yeah, he's strangely obsessed with pink, and that's my impression on it. His surname is literally translated to Pitch Mountain. The word, the danji in his name, the danji in his name is literally the Japanese word for danji. Literally translates to Pitch Mountain, which is why his whole team is pink in color. Anyway, I do look forward to him in the anime, and also finally we get one of the main characters using Spike Brothers unit to fight. So far in the 10 long years of Vanguard, we do not have that, which is kind of sad. I mean, we do have that, but those characters are kind of minor, really minor, and with exception of Kyo, but then still, here's a minor character. Let's take a look at the trial deck. So this is the trial deck that Bushiroad actually released for Dark States. As you can see, we have our poster boy Danji here, and also the boss unit, which we will get into later. So the whole theme and mechanic surrounding this TD, by the way, it's called the Star Deck 02, Danji Momoyama Tyrant Tiger. So for the slogan for this starter deck is actually, now let's start. You will be fascinated by the final rush. Yeah, so actually, I'm not sure if Bushiroad already teased us with the mechanics and the keyword for this nation, because when I'm recording this, I actually noticed that the final rush was in the slogan. I'm not sure if it was there in the beginning, and I did make a quick search For the other 3 starter decks, Cater Sanctuary does not have it, Brandsgate does not have it, Stoichia does not have it as well. So I'm not sure if that keyword is there in the beginning. And of course, it will introduce the keyword Final Rush, which we will get into later. So the whole theme of this deck is actually store your power and finish it in one go. So meaning that before they reveal anything for the starter deck, my impression on this is that it will kind of like it's more of a farming thing, like the previous Luart in the G series. You kind of like sit there and farm all your resources, draw as much as you can, and then use it all in one turn. Yeah, so basically this is what I get from this deck, which is actually fitting based on the skill revealed so far for this nation. Okay, then we got a little bit of feature units that was being revealed, the whole artwork. Of course, we have Violence Bruce, the boss unit himself, right in the middle, and we have Anger Richard on the left, the great 2. We have Bad Steve, I think, and Adriana. And I forgot the starters. Oh, Innocent Matt. And also, of course, we got the critical trigger, Mai. Yeah, very innocent. All these 6 units, their common name being Diabolos, which for me, I find it very weird because Diabolos is actually a Chinese yo-yo. If you want, you can search it up. I mean, just Google Diabolo, and you will see a Chinese yo-yo on it. But yeah, I understand that this Diabolos is actually named after the devil. Instead of playing football, they're actually playing yo-yo. So I don't know. The artwork, to be honest, is very, very good. All 6 of these cards actually form one big picture. Kind of like Legion back in the OG era. And then as you can see, we have a whole stadium view, which is very, very nice. The artwork for this is just very, very nice. Now, let's go to the new keyword, Final Rush, and explain what it does. So over here, it says that accumulate strength for 1 turn and gain Final Rush at the start of your right phase. And of course, it will power up your units. Okay, so it says that you will gain Final Rush at the start of your right phase. This is key point here. So Final Rush is essentially a state of being. So Final Rush is a state of being, and then you will gain it at the start of your right phase, meaning that if you ride another unit, you will still be in Final Rush. So we have a little bit of question and answer regarding this Final Rush to explain some of the question that we may have. What is Final Rush? It is information that the fighter holds. So it's not your units that becomes Final Rush, it's actually you yourself, the player, becomes Final Rush. Okay, so and then of course there are cards that reference Final Rush, meaning that there are cards that says that if you are in Final Rush, you do something. You are in Final Rush, you gain this something. That's essentially what it says. And the second one, when you are in Final Rush at the start of your right phase after performing Persona Right, do I lose Final Rush? No, you will remain in Final Rush. And then, of course, after performing Persona Right, even if your Vanguard changed to other units, you are in Final Rush until the end of turn, which is kind of like what I said previously. The timing of Final Rush is that, previously it says that at the start of your right phase, right? So at the start of your right phase, if you have that specific unit on your Vanguard circle, you are able to go into Final Rush. Even if your Vanguard change into other units, you still have the Final Rush. So think of Final Rush as something like a Super Saiyan. Until that turn, at the start of your right phase, you basically ascended to become Super Saiyan. That's basically what it does. So now let's get over to see some of the units that was revealed throughout the week. First, we have Acrobat Presenter. Now, this unit is definitely not a Spike Brother unit. This is definitely a Pale Moon unit that was kind of have an identity crisis. Who knows? But yeah, this is actually a Pale Moon unit. But strangely enough, even though this visually looks like a Pale Moon unit, its skill actually supports the Grade 3 Spike Brother unit. Now, its skill says that when this unit attacks or boosts, if your Vanguard is Diabolos, Violence, Bruce, Soul Charge 1, and if you are in Final Rush, you Soul Charge 1, meaning that you will Soul Charge 2 when you have Violence Bruce, the main Grade 3 boss unit, as your Vanguard, and if you are in Final Rush, usually you will Soul Charge 1. So therefore, you will Soul Charge 2 during your 4th turn, which will come in handy once you get to know what Violence Bruise does. To me, this card, right, my first impression for this card is it is a conditional resource generator. Why I say so is that because it has a lot of restriction, it has a lot of condition to get the full effect out. So for example, if the first time that you ride Violence Bruise, you can, if you attack or boost with Acrobat Presenter, you can only Soul Charge 1, which is 50% of the skill. Because you're not in Final Rush. You definitely will not be in Final Rush the moment you ride Grade 3, because it is not the beginning of your right phase. See? So yeah, it's a very conditional resource generator in a sense. Next, we have the order card for this clan. Surprisingly, they revealed the order card so early. I'm actually really surprised. But then it's only a Soul Charge 2. Brother's Soul. Soul Charge 2. That's it. That's the skill. This is the shortest skill I have ever seen since, I don't know. I don't think we have a skill that is that short. So my impression on this card, of course it's a resource generator by using one hand to Soul Charge 2. So if you can kind of see that the whole nation resolve around the soul. We have Acrobat Presenter, which will Soul Charge if you have Violence Bruise as your Vanguard. We also have this order card, which will Soul Charge 2. So that's 2 Soul Charging cards in this starter deck already. Once we get to Violence Bruise, you will understand why this is important. Next, we have the Great One, Bad Steve. Diabolos Bad Steve. This will be the main one of the 6 unit that was being revealed. This card was actually the card, this unit was actually the unit that was in the order card. If you look closely, every single characteristic of this unit fits the one in the order card. This is basically, Bad Steve is actually the unit that was in the order card, which is very, very cool. Now, his skill, auto, when this unit is placed on Vanguard, choose a card from your soul, call it to your back row center rearguard, and Soul Charge 1. Okay, so meaning that if you ride this unit during your Grade 1 turn, you will choose a card from your soul, essentially your stutter, and call it to the back of your Vanguard, and then you Soul Charge 1. So meaning that you will gain a free rearguard, and also you gain a Soul Charge, a random Soul Charge 1. Next, we will have a continuous rearguard. If you are in Final Rush, this unit will plus 5k. So my impression on this card is actually, it is a Grade 1 right target because it helps you generate 1 soul, and of course it gives you 1 free rearguard to your boost. In a sense, right, you don't really lose the soul because you Soul Charge 1. That's still pretty random, but imagine Soul Charging the over trigger. Ugh. And then of course during the Final Rush, this unit will plus 5, which is kind of nice. But yeah, this unit is a very, very good. This unit will be kind of like a staple until we get better Grade 1s. Next, we have Diabolos Anger Richard. This is the Grade 2 that was one of the 6 main units. So his skill reads, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, meaning you ride this, put a rearguard into your soul and draw a card. And then of course we do have the Final Rush plus 5k power. When you ride Bad Steve, right? When you ride Bad Steve, you actually pull out the starter and put it at the back of your Vanguard. The way this unit works is that at the moment you ride him, you ride Anger Richard, you have to straight away use the skill to put a rearguard into your soul and draw a card. My impression of this card is that this is actually a Grade 2 right target. A really good one actually, because it gives you 1 soul and also it lets you draw a card. Very simple, right? It's a resource generator / a key piece fetcher. Because you draw 1, you may draw into the pieces that you need. And remember, draw power, well, not really draw power. If you're able to exchange your card in Cardfight Vanguard, you can actually fetch your key pieces much faster and much more consistent. So this one is actually a very good early setup. And then of course it powers up during the Final Rush. So during the Final Rush, of course, almost all of your unit will get a power boost, which is really, really good. Next, of course, we have the boss unit, Diabolos Violence Bruise. Now, this one of course is the Final Rush enabler, as the first skill is, at the start of your right phase, you Final Rush. Specific units gets a power up when you are in Final Rush. At the start of your right phase, you will be in Final Rush. Previously, what we have, the Diabolos skill, all of the Diabolos, they only stated, the skill only stated that if you are in Final Rush, you yourself, not they themselves. So yeah, during the start of your right phase, everything will become in Final Rush. You yourself become in Final Rush. Basically, you Super Saiyan and everything will gain a power up. Then The second skill is where all the soul charging matters. The second skill reads, when this unit attacks, if you are in final rush, Soul Blast 5 and stand all your front row rear guards. This deck right off the bat will attack for 5 times at the maximum. But then yeah, my impression on this is this card is actually a very badass boss visually. It is a final rush enabler. It is soul reliant. Of course, it is a multi rearguard attacker, 5 attacks including himself, and those attacks are gonna be very big in power. So we come to the pros of the whole final rush and dark states mechanic. I mean, this is specifically for the final rush mechanic. You will have a very scary 4th turn, meaning that if you personal ride Violence Bruce, the whole of your front row will gain +10 in addition to the final rush power boost. Because if you remember, Anger Richard and Bad Steve, they will gain 5k power during the turn that you final rush. Both of your columns, left and right column, will gain 20k if you call Anger Richard and also Bad Steve. Those are gonna be a very big number of attacks, and then you will go even further if you get front triggers, which is very nice. Front trigger is just gonna make that even OP. Then of course with every strength there's always weaknesses. The con of this mechanic is that most of the units will be vanilla until the 4th turn. If you don't know what vanilla means, is that those unit will not have any skill up until the 4th turn, meaning the second time you write your grade 3, either from the right deck or from your hand. Because of the timing of how final rush works, you're not gonna be in final rush the first time you write a grade 3. This actually fits well with the whole theme of the deck. It says that store your power and finish it in one go. You will have a very scary 4th turn, but then you will kind of like sacrificing your 3rd turn because almost all your stuff are unable to use the skill. And then as of now, it is very vulnerable to retire, because if you ride Bad Steve and call your stutter to the rear guard, if you face again Dragon Empire, that stutter is almost certainly going to die. It will not let you use Anger Richard. That is one thing to keep in mind. So I mean, so far the only retired cards that we know is actually Dragon Empire. Violence Bruce himself has a very heavy cost with 5 Soul Blast, which is, I mean, the 5 Soul Blast is kind of heavy for restands. I mean, of course, we do know that the whole theme of this clan is that to kind of like gather resources and then finish it everything to kind of end your opponent. And also the 4th con is that there's a lot of soul charging card but not many utilization. Okay, so for this point is that there is essentially two cards in this starter deck that helps you soul charge. One being the order card, Brother Soul, and of course Acrobat Presenter. If you play those 4 cards correctly, you will essentially soul charge 4. But then there's not many usage other than Violence Bruce himself, which is Soul Blast 5. But this also tells me that Bushiroad do plan to give a plan B to Dark States if you could not finish your opponent during your first final rush turn. Now, for potential support, do keep in mind this one is just purely my speculation. It may not be true, but there are a few things that we can make this clan kind of not really broken, at the same time not very weak. Okay, the first one is highly unlikely because this one, if we get this one, it will essentially accelerate the final rush turn. I'm not sure, because for me myself, I still find it really slow, and the main comments that I see online are actually Dark States is really slow. I agree. What better way to fix it than introducing a superior right? Says you could sacrifice your hand just to superior right Violence Bruce at the end of your grade 2 turn. Means that the next turn you will activate Final Rush as well as personal right, which will give you a very devastating turn. But this one is highly unlikely. Okay, so the next one is the potential support for the next one is actually Superior Calling. Since all these Diabolos cards, they are actually Spike Brothers in disguise, it's really weird for them to not Superior Call. I would like to see Bushiroad actually giving them some Superior Calling mechanics, because as of now, everything needs to be called from hand, which is Not very spike breader key. And then of course some resource generator for the third turn. As we know, if we write Violence Bruise the first time, it does not do anything. Why I says resource generator for the third turn is that you will kind of have something like to draw or soul charge on the third turn. This will actually increase your chances of surviving until the fourth turn, because the very big weakness for this starter deck is that it is very slow, and if your opponent knows your deck well, they can rush like no tomorrow, and then you will be in a very bad situation. And that is it for the video. Do let me know down in the comment section, what do you think of the new Dark States? I mean, all the units skill that was being revealed. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the field.